Never run out of battery again with the INIU portable charger, the slimmest 10,000 mAh power bank that keeps your devices charged on the go. Stay powered up wherever you go. Click the link in the video description to shop now on Amazon.
This week, the Russia-Ukraine war has been heating up with some shocking statements from President Trump, and a response that's left many wondering what's next for this conflict. So let's dive right in. Recently, President Trump dropped a bombshell when he declared that Ukraine, with NATO support, could force Russia to retreat. But here's the thing. It seems like this statement is more about his frustration with the situation and his failed attempts at brokering a peace deal, rather than an actual plan of action. Now, in response to President Trump's bold claim that Russia was a paper tiger, the Kremlin pushed back firmly. Dmitry Peskov, the spokesperson for the Russian government, said that Russia has no alternative but to continue its offensive to achieve its goals and ensure the country's interests. That's quite a strong statement from Moscow. But we shouldn't forget that tensions are already high between NATO and Russia. Just this week, U.S. and Canadian fighter jets were scrambled to intercept 4 Russian military planes flying off the coast of Alaska. This is not an isolated incident. Similar events have happened before, raising concerns about Russian incursions into NATO airspace. The situation just got even more complicated when it was revealed that European diplomats had warned Russia that NATO would shoot down any Russian aircraft violating its airspace. However, Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov called this report irresponsible and denied that Russian military planes had violated anyone's airspace. Despite the denials, 7 EU countries held dialogue with Ukraine and the European Commission about setting up counter-drone defenses. Now, let's turn to Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, who told Axios in an interview this week that he does not intend to continue leading Ukraine after a ceasefire has been reached. He pledged that Ukraine will resume holding elections once the war is resolved. That's a big move for anyone involved in this conflict. But before we move on, there's some news about military assistance to Ukraine. Kyiv and Washington plan to hold talks soon on creating a joint venture for arms production. That's a positive development after a meeting between Zelensky and Trump at the UN General Assembly. Meanwhile, NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte said that Europe will continue to foot the bill for the prioritized Ukraine requirements list, an initiative rolled out under the Trump administration to supply Kyiv with American arms. But with tight funding, Europe is looking at alternative ways to support Ukraine, like confiscating Russian securities frozen in the European financial system. Now, let's take a look at some recent battlefield updates. Ukraine's Armed Forces commander, Gen Oleksandr Syyskyi, said that the line of contact with Russian forces has grown over the past year, stretching more than 1,250 kilometers in total. Russia is employing a 1,000 cuts strategy, launching small-scale infantry raids to disrupt Ukrainian positions and supply lines. This week, Ukraine showed off a new underwater drone called TOLOKA, which can be used for strike missions. It's been under development for several years and comes in 3 variants that differ by size. This is just one example of the innovative ways Ukraine is responding to the conflict. As we wrap up this report, it's clear that the Russia-Ukraine war is far from over. With statements like President Trump's and actions like Russia's 1,000 cuts strategy, tensions are running high. The Olivo team will continue to keep you updated on any developments in this complex and ever-changing situation.